What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to react to a story that just came across. What is it? Dreamers Pro, right? And Dreamers Pro was talking about basically LeBron James had to take a $300 million loan, right? And so this to me is was in my opinion was very predictable when it comes to this is the way that these evil dark forces use to break to break people down and steal back the wealth that they give to these athletes and actors, right? As soon as you become somebody who has wealth, they set up these different little traps. They set up these different traps for you, right? First they have you you're going to buy the big house because you had the money and you can afford it. Then you're going to start to set up different businesses and stuff like that. So you'll be able to, the plan is to be able to maintain that lifestyle, to be, and so, but really what it is all a setup. So LeBron James, and he has plenty of different business interests, right? But if your businesses are doing well and you still need to take out a $300 million loan, then that just lets you know, well, that basically just lets you know that something's off there, right? And in my opinion, this is not it's not a coincidence. I just know it's a setup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to the audio. I'm gonna play the audio from Dreamers Pro, and then I'm gonna give you my breakdown of what I think is going on with LeBron James and his finances.
Okay. I didn't say $300. I didn't say $300,000. I said $300 million. Okay. And as we're talking about this, League Alerts just posted about this 20 minutes ago. It says LeBron James borrowed nearly $300 million from life insurance companies in 2018 before signing with the Lakers. Okay. And I'll get into the full read because we have some articles here. But it says this. It says an LLC LeBron controls issued close to $300 million in bonds that were backed by his future off-court earnings, including his his lifetime deal with Nike. The insurers behind it were advised at the time by Guggenheim, I think, Gunheim, whatever, partners, run by former Lakers owner Mark Walters. Now, Mark Walters, if any of you are following the news, actually turns out he doesn't have as much money as he proclaimed to have, and he needed to sell the Lakers to get a quick $2.5 billion to pay off the billions of dollars that he owns. Okay? So he said, who's the devil?
All right, so let me stop it right here, right? So when you start to fill out these different policies, these insurance policies, and the first thing, and they'll let you know that you can borrow against these insurance policies, right? And so if you don't know anything about these insurance policies and you think, oh wow, that's a benefit, I could borrow against these policies, and as long as I pay them back within a certain amount of time, then no harm, no foul, right? But it's all a setup. It's all a setup, right? You'll borrow against policies and you'll leverage. For instance, he leveraged the fact that he's got a lifetime deal with Nike, and so basically that will make his that'll siphon off the money that he has with Nike. So it's basically, in my opinion, just all a setup in order for these for these dark forces to steal back the wealth that they give you. It was a plan from the very beginning, right? And you see this with actors and athletes. They'll have you get used to a certain lifestyle, right? And they'll have you set up these businesses. He got Clutch, and he has a what is it? What is that other business he had? It's like where they stay it's because Kevin Hart had the same kind of business, whereas though it's they do, like, they represent people, and also they just really just it's like a marketing firm for people, right? Anyway, they'll set you up in all these businesses and stuff like this, and these businesses don't really make any money. And what LeBron James and other people with these athletes, what they do is they sink a lot of their own money in this. Sometimes they get people to invest with them, but they sink a lot of their own money in it, right? Until you grow the business, and it's all a setup. It's all a setup so they can take all this stuff back from you and then leave you high and dry. Once LeBron James, and all right, so look at it like this way. LeBron James is on a hook for this $300 million. He just signed a contract with Philly for $8 million. Remember, and so people say, well, why LeBron James is playing so long? He's gonna have to play long in order to. He's not making money anywhere else. Like, basketball is his bread and butter. That's why I always said, right, that in order for LeBron James to get out of this deal, that he has made with these dark forces, he had to perform like Michael Jordan. Why? Because Michael Jordan can always tap into that fan base, right? Michael Jordan has leverage and is loved. LeBron James is someone who is he's polarizing, right? And that's marketable in the short term, but in the long term, Mike is beloved. Kobe is beloved. You can't. That is really your only, as an athlete and an entertainer. That's the only leverage you really can have. Is if you can leverage your fan base, like with Michael Jackson, right? Michael Jackson could never go broke because he could always do a concert. Before he even passed, Michael Jackson was he was preparing to do a concert, a tour, right? And if Michael Jackson was alive today, he'll still be able to go on tour because he's beloved around the world. Same thing with Prince, right? They could always perform and do tours around the world. Um that's why you have to, and dark forces feel like they need to get rid of that person, because that's the only way you can really stop that person, is get rid of them, because they have that fan base and they can always tap into that. LeBron James is, in my opinion, he's in a position where, as though, he don't have that connection to that fan base. He's not beloved like that. He's polarizing. And if you watch, what's the guy named Rich Paul, he's doing his best to say stuff that's provocative and to keep LeBron James and Clutch, to keep them relevant, as far as for clicks and views. But that won't get them their clicks and views. That won't get them nowhere near the amount of money and finance they need to be able to maintain and to get themselves out of this hole that LeBron James is in. LeBron James, you know, businesses. And when you look at Clutch Sports, right, they're on the decline. I made a video about this a while ago where I said Clutch Sports, every time a player, they leave or retire from Clutch Sports, they need to replace that player with somebody of equal or more value. In this past draft, they didn't do I think they signed a couple players, but remember, if you're going to be losing LeBron James basically within the next couple years, you need to be able to replace him with another LeBron James in order for you to have the type of leverage and make the kind of money that you're used to making. But that's not going to happen for Clutch. So what's going to happen for Clutch is the same thing that happened with Michael Jordan's his agent, right? David Folk. You only have as much leverage as your star player, like your most high profile player. That's the amount of leverage you have, and so you can't. What's the odds of Rich Paul and Clutch getting another LeBron James? They won't be able to do that. They won't be able to maintain that, right? And so their business is operating on a scale as if that that they were going to have a LeBron James forever. And you can't do business like that. You got to be business need to be very you need cut costs, and you got to be very efficient. But that's not the way they've been operating. And now I was wondering, right, like how, well, I'm not surprised. I know that this is one of the ways that they come at you. They get you in situations where you have to take these loans, and you have to sell off this, and you have to leverage that and stuff like that. It's only the beginning, in my opinion. Clutch is going to, once LeBron James is out of the league, Clutch probably won't be around for a whole lot much longer. You know what I mean? Because they already have this clients within Clutch, or who have left Clutch, that wasn't really satisfied with the way that they were being handled, right? What's the guy named Norris? I forgot his name, who played for the Heat. He was displeased with Clutch. He said Clutch lost him like 70 or 80 million dollars. New Orleans Noel, right? He said that Clutch lost him like 70 to 80 million dollars. Then you have people who are trying to, Clutch competitors, who are going around trying to undercut them and saying that, only Clutch only cares about LeBron James. That's their main priority, which is not a lie. And that just turns off other people from signing with Clutch. So this right here, in my opinion, is the beginning of the end for LeBron James. People say, well, LeBron James, he has he's worth $1.5 billion, right? Well, if you're worth 1.5 and you need to take a loan for 300 million, that tell you right there, man, that it's chinks in this armor. And I think that even when you have to take out this kind of loan and you expect to be an NBA owner, like why? And this another thing. Why would they sell LeBron James a team? Right? Like, what leverage do LeBron James bring to the team? You don't have cash to put up for the team, and you're not someone who is beloved by the fans. You're more polarizing. So what does LeBron James bring to the table? Whereas though they say, oh yeah, we want to bring him into the ranks, and we need LeBron James to be an owner, because LeBron James will be an asset as an owner. So this report right here, and I didn't really play a whole lot of it, because I just basically want you all to see that, like, once you start taking these kind of loans out, and LeBron James is not even, he's still playing, and he's taking out these kind of loans. So when he's not in the NBA anymore, and he's not making the kind of money, he already not making the money that he's used to making. He took a what? A 40-something million dollar pay cut just to play for Philly. So yeah, it is not going to get any better. It's definitely not going to get any better. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.